Okay, so good morning, everyone. Uh, we will have a discussion today regarding about disk imaging uh, or disk cloning, disk imaging and disk cloning, basically. So before we do that, let us have a review because all the concepts needed for us to understand disk imaging and disk cloning is uh, is founded on the idea of backup. So looking at backup, so it is the process of making multiple copies of a file to a different media. So I put on uh, uh, a graphical way to explain that concept. So in a hard drive, uh, your hard drive is composed of the system files and the non-system files. So your system files are the ones that are needed in running your operating system. Kaya tinawag siya system files. Now, most of the time, we use Drive C as our operating system partition, right? So it's easier that way para basically it's the best practice. You put your operating system in your Drive C. But of course, it depends upon the situation. Pero that is what we've learned in our previous lessons. Now also, uh, you also have your non-system files. Like for example, your documents, your music, your pictures, video. So they are also called your user libraries. So when we need to back them up, so these your files, let's call those files the non-system and the system files. They can be backed up through local media. So what are the examples of the local media? Your USB drive, your hard disk drive or your solid state drive, your network drive or network access storage, or your optical disc. We still use optical disc as well, pero not that this is not very popular nowadays because most computers nga have no more optical disc. But laptops, so most laptops do have one pa rin. Pero most wala na optical disc. You can also use the cloud media or applications in the cloud that you can back up to. Like for example, your OneDrive, your Google Drive. There's also a free one called Dropbox. So basically, these three are the most popular cloud media application. Now, using OneDrive, your free account for OneDrive is 5 gig. Your free account for Google Drive is 15 gig. Your free account for Dropbox is 2 gig. Your paid account for OneDrive for MCA is 1 terabyte. For Google MCA Google Drive account, you have an unlimited storage. Okay, so I think that sums up our lesson one. Aside from the Windows application that we can use for the local backup and for the local backup. Okay, so moving on. So let us now, if we can copy the files, what if we copy the whole disk? Because there are some requirements wherein you have to copy the whole disk as well as the operating system. Di ba? Uh, isn't that possible? So suppose I have a computer and I want the same setup. In case na nagkaroon ako ng problema, I want to have that same setup. Yung mga applications na na-install ko or yung design ng wallpaper ko. So, can I copy that as well? So that is the idea behind this cloning and this imaging. So, so engineers thought of that. So why not? if we can copy files, why not copy the whole disk? Basically, noong mga ang storage pa lang ay mga tinatawag na floppy drive, meron ng command na tinatawag na disk copy. So, moving on towards the future of larger storage, tinawag na siya disk cloning because uh, it's basically the process of copying the entire contents of one hard drive, which is called the source drive, and another drive or the destination drive called the clone drive. So basically, the clone drive is the same or is the replica of the source drive, which includes also the boot record, which is needed for the operating system to run. Okay, so that's the idea of this cloning. So you also you can also copy the boot record, which is needed for a hard disk to boot, aside from the operating system. Now, the disk imaging, it is the process of instead of making another copy immediately, gagawa ka lang ng archive or tinatawag na image or snapshot, which you can use later to produce a clone. Okay? So, this when we say disk clone is to produce another hard drive. Disk imaging is to produce a image lang, which you can use later on to make a clone. So that's the difference between imaging and cloning. Cloning is to produce immediately the clone drive, while image, on the other hand, is to produce only the image that will be used to create a clone. Okay? So the idea is your hard drive is composed of binary digits. Like as you can see in this picture, your hard drive is actually composed of 1001. It's basically binary digits. And that is the one copy that being copied. It's not the file itself. Kaya mas mabilis siya because you're copying the hard drive, not the file inside your hard drive. So in this cloning or imaging, the data that is copied is bit by bit. It's basically the binary digits that is being copied in your hard drive. So that sums up or simplifies this cloning and disk imaging. Now, the graphical representation is you have your source drive here. You can use, from the source drive, you can make a disk image or snapshot, which in turn uh, you can do that to make a disk clone. Okay, some application, hindi na sila gumagawa ng image. So, direkta na. So, source disk and disk clone na kagad. But if you want, this image is much better because you can use that anytime you need. Hindi mo na kailangan ng source disk. So, if you have the image of that source disk, you just put that in your in a storage device, in your hard drive. And later on, kapag nakailangan tayo, we can produce a clone out of that source disk. So, what is the advantage of this cloning or this imaging over traditional backup? So, the good thing about system image, the imaging, is it supports system and non-system files. If you still remember, or if you're working on your performance task, Windows system image backup and restore can not only back up or make an image out of your operating system, it can also back up your documents or user libraries or everything in your drive C. So unlike your non-system backup applications, it does not support that. So it also process faster. Okay, so last time I've made a demo, pero we will do it today so that I can see you how fast really is imaging. So these are these imaging or cloning softwares that are popular. The paid is Windows System Image, so because it comes with your Windows 10. Of course, you have to pay Windows 10 to have your Windows System Image. Uh, Acronis True Image, this is one of the popular ones. Also, yung is actually it's easy use to do backup. Yung easy use to do backup. Ang nagamit ko pa lang dyan ay si Acronis and Easius, and they are easy to work on because they are graphical. They have graphical user interface. Unlike the open source, most of the open source kasi ay puro text-based. So para if you're working with a command prompt. So medyo mahirap siyang unawain o mahirap i-work on. It's much better to do with work with graphical user interface. Now, when do we use this cloning or this imaging? So we have, if you needed to replace an old hard drive, so there are times na kahit napakabilis ng computer mo, but if you have an old hard drive, pag yung hard drive mo is old and sometimes it's if it gets old, sobrang bagal na niya. So you have to replace an old hard disk drive. So to do that, you can use imaging para lahat ng contents doon sa old driver, old hard drive, we can transfer that to your new hard drive. Also, yung upgrade to solid state drive, because if you want a really faster drive for your operating system, instead of using a hard disk drive, you can upgrade that to solid state drive by the use of disk imaging or cloning. Also, you can use this. For example, you have many types of computers in your office, or like for example, here in MCA, you have a different setup for your computer laboratory. You have a different setup for the teachers. You have a different setup for the administration office personnel. Okay? So, since marami silang computers and it will take some time para if there is any problem with their computers and you have to format it again, uh, why not archive a certain computer there, tapos later on, pag nagkaroon ng problema yung computer nila, use that image to uh, to set up a new computer, a fresh computer from using disk imaging. So, it would be faster. Okay? Kaysa mag-format ka from scratch. It will take you hours. So, this imaging is the best solution if you want to set up a new computer. Of course, you should have a source computer first. Kaya nga, that is yun yung caveat. Yun yung dapat na muna nating matutuhan. And we also, we are through with that. So basically, this is the shortcut. So if you have your new computer with you, you make an image of that. Later on, pag nagka-problema yung computer mo or the other computers, you just use this imaging to set up a new computer. Now, also, you can deploy multiple computers. Now, for example, computer laboratory needs 50 computers and kailangan mo within a day to set that up. Do you think it's possible without this imaging? It's not. So it will take you around, kasi for one computer, it may take you around 3 to 4 hours. So if that is 50 computers, it is not possible. Pero it is possible using this imaging. And that is what we will demo for today. Deploying computers using Acronis through image. Okay, let us set that first.